Are these some of the things that go through the head when you're trying to stop? Is the rationalizing why you can keep doing it? Uh,
Yeah, that little insidious lie of I can stop whenever I want to, or
mhm.
one isn't going to hurt, that got me in trouble more times than I can count. What research shows, data, scientific research shows, Matt, is if you habitually drink as little as 7 drinks a week, could be 1 glass of wine a night, it could be 3 on Friday, 4 on Saturday, whatever the pattern is, but an average of 7, your neural circuitry actually gets rewired to a place where that habit gets wired in more resolutely before you have any idea that it is so hardwired into your brain. And that's where this becomes a spiral rather than just a bad habit.
mm, okay. Well, it makes me curious to and kind of go back to you had the moment of clarity you had shared. There were feelings of shame and remorse and regret. I think were the three words you may have used. Uh, can you go back to that? Was that when you woke up that time feeling those feelings? Why was that the day that pushed you over the edge to made this commitment? Anything about that particular experience or?
Yeah, it had to do with being a mom. So I've been raising
Okay.
kids under 18 for 37 years, and being a really wonderful mom and showing up for my kids has been central to what's important to me my entire life. And I behaved in a way that was diametrically opposed to the way that I want to be and really am as a mom. And, you can mess with me as much as you want, but you mess with my kids and it is game over. I am a protective mama bear. And I was the one that was injuring them, and it really had to do with that. My protective um, motivation and instincts with my kids is so powerful in my life, and it has led me to make this decision. It also is what led me to leave a marriage that was really difficult. So thank God for my kids.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing so transparently, because this is something that I don't think most people go this far to share this transparently, especially on a podcast. So thank you for sharing. Let's go to that moment after the day and moving forward. You made that commitment. It was August 7th was that day that happened. August 8th, you woke up, and August 9th, 1999, you made the commitment. So how does one start from a place of going a bottle or more of wine every night for a period of time and just stop cold turkey and keep that up for 22 years? How does that happen? Please help us walk us through the first few days and how that worked.
Matt, early on in my recovery, I walked into a recovery meeting. There was this gorgeous woman sitting at the front who was telling her story. She had this mane of auburn curls. She had bright red lipstick, big smile, beautifully dressed, articulate, just, kind of the embodiment of everything I wanted to be. And she was telling the story. She said, yeah, I decided I had to stop drinking. It was 3 a.m. in my living room with my husband, my boyfriend, and the police. And I thought this was perfectly normal. And she threw back his hair and she laughed. And I viscerally was shocked because at the time I was layered under shame and remorse and regret, embarrassment. And then I had a poster in front of all of that saying, nothing to see here, move on along. And
Yeah.
she embodied this sense of freedom, not just from alcohol, but from all of that shame and remorse and regret. And she was so sparklingly alive. And not only did I want that for myself, But today I want to be that for other women.
Mm. I wonder at what point in that first experience when you saw that she was embodying that, did you connect the dot to your own shame, remorse, regret, and come to a place where you could either forgive yourself or you could uh, be on the path to healing? Was it instantaneous, or can you help us understand a little bit more about that feeling, please?
It never occurred to me that you could be that honest publicly, or just anywhere. Um,
Hmm.
it had never
Hmm.
been in my world of experience of possibilities, even. And so part of it was instantaneous. Part of it was, oh my God, that's possible. That's cool. Right. So that was instantaneous. And then the rest of it, Matt, is really about doing the work to get to that place.
Mm. And what might that look like? Some of the work or steps in that journey for you, Kay?
Well, I mean, it's exactly what I do in my program now, right? So it's number one, that moment of, oh my God, what's possible? What's my ideal future self, right?
Mm.
Secondly, it's looking at all the stuff that I believe about myself and the world and my place in the world that gets in my way, my old stories. Number
Mhm.
three, what's the antidote to those old stories? And to me, those are like character values, or I call them spiritual principles or virtues, Benjamin Franklin called them, but things like honesty and humility, kindness, compassion, amusement, vigilance, like these kinds of principles. And then practicing those principles one a week. I pick one a week. I focus on it for a
Okay.
week. I practice it at home, at work, with my friends, with colleagues, with the TSA agents, with the grocery
Uh-huh.
store clerk. And important among those is forgiveness and being of service.
Hmm.
And that kind of three-step waltz of what's my deal, what gets in my way, what spiritual principles or character values are going to move me towards, and then practicing that value to the best of my ability and learning about it. That's been the answer for me. It's gotten me to a place. Well, let me back up for a second, Matt. When I drank, I believed that the edge that I built up during the day could be beautifully relieved by a glass of wine, right?
Okay. Okay.
And what I've found today is not only different ways to take that edge off that aren't addictive and don't lead me to drink, but I've had to work out a way of being able to walk through my world and my life on a daily basis without developing that edge to start with.
Hmm.
So if
Okay.
I am
Mhm.
walking through the world in a way where I'm holding myself to the principle of compassion, when things don't go my way, instead of being offended and pissed and anxious and resentful, if I practice compassion, then I don't develop that edge that needs that glass of wine to be removed.
Ah, I love it. I would call this, in my coaching practice, I would call this putting the pill in the peanut butter, meaning that you are modeling, you are modeling the behavior that that ideal self wants to follow. So you're not just putting a band-aid on the challenge and taking the edge off in a different way. You are going and getting ahead of the challenging mindset in the first place and working on your inner self before you even show up or as you show up. And compassion is a beautiful virtue to aspire to practice that helps you not even
It
develop the edge
does.
in the first place. It's not that edge. It's a different, it's not even an edge. It's
There's no
maybe it's a
edge.
positive edge.